Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Huttons Consumer Connect webinar series. And thank you very, very much once again for spending your precious time with us during this election fever period. My name is JY and I will be your host for. To make sure that we can schedule, we will open up for a few questions during the Q&A portion towards the end of the webinar. So in case we don't have a chance to answer some of the questions, we do apologize. Please feel free to approach your Huttons agent who has invited you today. So we are all in the fervor of this election season. Today is day one of campaigning and we're all excited to see the eventual results. However, against this backdrop, the economy is opening up and commerce is slowly restarting again. In my opinion, the government is taking a cautiously optimistic approach in allowing our economy to regain its footing. Zooming back to real estate. Real estate forms the backbone of our economy. A huge percentage of the GDP can be traced back to real estate, from construction, property management, hospitality, development, and even us in the consultancy business. In fact, a large percentage of government revenue stems from real estate, and they are by far one of the biggest stakeholders in this industry. So in Singapore, home ownership rates are one of the highest in the world. If we look at the household balance sheet, which is like essentially an accounts of each household, real estate forms a huge portion of an individual's household wealth. So knowing how to navigate the real estate market is crucial in wealth creation, planning, and also sustainability. Similarly, understanding the systemic shocks and black swan events will allow us to better position ourselves to make informed decisions. So one golden question that myself and my colleagues always hear, or commonly hear from buyers is, should I buy a real estate property as I think its en-bloc potential is rather high? So for those who do not know, en-bloc essentially means selling an entire development to a developer for the potential redevelopment of the site. So for most individuals, en-bloc is like a golden egg that will usually allow for greater profits. However, the question that begs us is, where are the developments with such en-bloc potential are? Where are these going to be? The second one is, when will this take place? So these are the two big question marks that sometimes even ourselves find it hard to answer. So today, we will have Oliver to explain to you if we should buy a resale property for its en-bloc potential. A little bit about Oliver. Oliver, he has achieved first position in both Huttons sales and local project categories in 2019. A consistent top performer, he has transacted a wide range of assets from HDB flats, mass market to high-end condominiums, landed sites from including good-class bungalows, commercial and industrial properties. Furthermore, Oliver majored in finance when he was in the banking sector during the earlier days of his career. With Oliver's wealth of experience, he is very much sought after, and he has shared his expertise with thousands of Huttons associates on various media platforms such as CNA 93. So without further ado, let us welcome Oliver. So Oliver, over to you.
Let me share my screen now.
Yep, Oliver, we see. Yep.
Okay. Good evening. Thanks for tuning in on a Wednesday evening, and I hope you guys had your dinner. Okay. Before we start, let's start off with a disclaimer first. Whatever I will be sharing is solely on my expertise and my point of view. Okay, so a little bit about myself. I've achieved, as JY mentioned, I've achieved first position in total sales and local projects. And yeah, I have managed to cross more than 1 million in revenue in 2019 by restructuring portfolios of my clients in from HDB all the way to good class bungalows, industrial and commercials. And I have also been invited by CNA to share on my real estate trends and insights. Okay, before we start the main topic on the en-bloc, I would like to share some market updates. I have transacted at least 6 deals during circuit breaker, and this is what other investors and savvy investors, home buyers, they have been knowing. Let's take a look at this. After every crisis, residential prices move higher from previous peak. So do follow me. This is the first peak, and the second peak is over here. Okay. In 2013 was the peak, and 7 years later, which is now 2020, we have not even passed the peak, the previous peak, right? And we are in a crisis right now. Right, that is why a lot of my clients are being very well informed, and they decided to make the purchase now. It's the same thing where in 2016, 2017 period, okay, no one are buying. They are very skeptical about the market. Market sentiments are very, very bad. So no one actually consider buying, but I have a huge bulk of clients who actually entered the property market. So 2017, government decided to tweak the cooling measures from 4 years seller stamp duty to 3 years seller stamp duty, and that immediately spike up the entire market, right? So whoever entered first, they actually got the most profit, okay? And I would like to talk about supply and demand, which you know that property prices always tag to supply and demand. Okay, when the supply is high, the demand is low, what happened to the price? The price will be slightly lower, okay? But when the supplies drop and the demand increase, okay, what happened to the price? The price will be slightly elevated. Okay, so let's take a look from 2010 to 2014, okay, the annual supply is 11,800 and the demand is 9,500, okay? So in this situation, the supply is higher than the demand, so the prices are still relatively low, okay? But move on to the next stage, 2015 to 2019, the supply is only at 12,900 and the demand is 13,700. So what happened right now? Supply drops, demand is high. What happened to the price? The price will be slightly elevated, and that is when whoever came in earlier, they actually took the profit. It's the same thing where in this situation, where no one is buying in 2016, okay, but whoever bought at that time, they are making very handsome profit in 2020 when they exit, okay? So move forward to 4 years later, from 2020, everyone knows that right now, no developer is bidding land, government is not releasing land for sale, right? And a project will need 3 to 4 years to build. So right now, if there's no one bidding the land, and there eventually no stock in 2014. So right now we are here, okay? You can expect if the sentiments continue to be the same, there won't have many inventory in the 2014 onwards, okay? So who, by then, when there's no supply, who will they buy from? They actually buy from those people who bought in 2020 when they hit their seller stamp duty in 2023, right? So it really depends on how do you want to time your entry point by understanding the supply and demand. Prices, your profits always tagged to supply and demand, okay? And this is an article in March. Everyone knows that, okay, China started the coronavirus first, and they open up first, okay? So the moment they open up, okay, the sales tripled in March, okay? And 90% was sold, were taken up within an hour online, okay? This is in March, okay? the moment they open up, there are pent-up demands for property buyers. Move on to April. Okay. China home prices rise again in April. Okay. So people are, those pent-up demands during COVID times, they actually are waiting for the market to pick up. Okay. But when they get more and more educated, even Singaporeans, when we get more and more educated, understanding the supply and demand, you can actually time your entry point, because every project will definitely need 3 to 4 years to build. So this is in May in Singapore, right? New private home sales rebound in May despite the virus curve. So I have a lot of clients who didn't even take a look at the show flat. They understand the market sentiments and the facts and figures, be very logical, because during normal times, we are able to go to the show flat and view the actual show flat or resale units. Okay, but if we like it, we are purchasing it, maybe a slight emotional kind of purchase. But right now, if we are not viewing, if during COVID times we can't view any properties, we can only crunch down to the numbers. Does it make sense? If the numbers make sense, then we move forward. If not, I wouldn't recommend you to do so as well. Okay. This is a very, very self-explanatory chart. During Asian financial crisis, anyone who bought during that time profited 40%. Okay, they are all during crisis time. And during SARS, 56%. Okay, global financial crisis and H1N1 time at 62%. So right now we are 7 years later from 2013, okay, and we have not even crossed the previous peak. So what do you expect it to happen when the government decide to tweak the measures, same as 2017, when they decided to tweak from 4 years to 3 years on the seller stamp duty? Okay, that's for the market updates, and we will move on to the life cycle of a property. On which stage do you want to enter? Okay, for stage 1, construction. Okay, during construction period, there are minimum capital outlay, and highest, you are able to achieve highest possible return of investment ROI. Okay, it's because you are paying progressively. Compared to a completed property, you are paying the full 75% loan, or if you are buying full cash, you are paying the entire value of the property. Compared to a under construction property, you are actually paying progressively. Okay, yet you are waiting for the highest possible capital appreciation upon TOP. In Singapore, the property will need time to appreciate. So by going into construction, under construction project, you are giving it time to appreciate, yet with minimum capital outlay, and you don't have to pay property tax, don't have to pay maintenance fee, and most importantly is when developer hit a certain number of sales, they will adjust the price upwards, which it will benefit people who bought earlier. Okay, so move on to the price, the second stage of price appreciation. Those whoever bought in construction period, people who waited, they deserve the profit. Okay, and usually when you can touch, you can feel, you can see the property, you definitely have to pay a slight premium to the first owner, okay, to get the unit itself. So usually upon TOP, you will have the highest demand. When there is a highest demand in a project, it's probably the best time to sell, because when it's new, people would like to have it. Okay, but once the hype is over, you probably do not see much demand, and that is when we go into price stagnation. Okay, demand of the project itself declined, but the price is still holding. It's because the project itself is still relatively new. Okay, so it's able to hold the price. Okay, if we miss this stage at the stagnation stage, when the project age, okay, continue to age, the demand will drop accordingly, and that is when you will see a depreciation on the project itself. Okay, once we cross this stage, we are looking into en-bloc stage, rejuvenation of the entire project. Developer will come in to bid the project, and residents would be thinking to exit the project because due to maybe structural issue, piping issues, a lot of internal issues that they would like to just exit and take a premium from the developer. Okay, so these are the 5 stages of the life cycle of a property. So it depends on which stage you would like to enter into a property. Okay, and today we are talking about en-bloc, which will be the last stage. And after that, I will be touching on some other different stages of construction, price appreciation and stagnation stage as well. And for investors that are looking for high rental yield and stuff, I will be touching slightly about on those topics as well. Okay, so these are the en-bloc that went throughout the years. Okay, if you notice from 1995 to 2004, the en-bloc is not very popular, right? So not many en-blocs actually went through. So the main bulk of the first en-bloc that went through is between 2005 to 2007. It's around 300. It's around 300 en-blocs that went through, and it's the most at that point of time. But for the next wave, okay, in 2010 to 2012, okay, the government actually imposed additional buyer's stamp duty, a few other cooling measures to curb the en-bloc fever, because they do not want developers to buy the land to en bloc at a premium and have to sell to the future buyers, which is us, at a even higher premium. Okay, and the most recent en bloc will be 2016 to 2018. Okay, this time it's getting lesser and lesser, and it will be even more difficult to go for projects that are going for en bloc, right? So it's like hitting a jackpot. Imagine yourself going into a casino, like how many people actually hit the jackpot? It's the same sentiment, same analogy, where you have to really pick the right project, and you have to be absolutely very lucky to get it, to really get the jackpot. Most of the en bloc, people who got the en bloc, that I have experienced, they are actually the first owner, and it held on all the way until the en bloc went through. A small minority actually are the second or third or fourth owner that actually bought in and got lucky that that the en bloc went through. Okay, so move on to why more than 30 en bloc bids fail to find buyers since cooling measures. It's because government imposed higher additional buyer's stamp duty and tighter loans. It's not just for residential buyers, it's for developers as well, right? So it's not that developers wouldn't want to en bloc a project. It's because there are a lot of factors to consider, and profits are the first thing in their mind. If by en blocking a project that doesn't yield them enough profit, ideal profit range, they would not want to enter. Okay, so let's take a look at the implementation on ABSD. So let's take a look at the developer additional buyer's stamp duty. Used to be 15%, okay, but it doubled the additional buyer stamp duty for the developers. Okay, it went to 25%. Okay, and 5% is a cost to them that is non-remittable. So this is a cost have to be added in to the purchase price of the land. Then they will eventually have lesser profit when they price it in the new launch to sell to us. Okay, so the non-remittable 5% it's one of the killer. Okay, and 25% is a huge sum. So altogether is 30%. 30% of the land cost of that developer have to fork out. And if developer choose not to complete, build and sell all the units within that time range, they are going to forfeit the entire 25%. And that is a lot of money for them. That is why right now, developers are still looking to en-bloc, but they are very, very cautious about it. It's unlike in the past 2 years, where any reasonable site that can yield them decent profit, they will jump in already. Because right now, due to all these measures, developers have to really choose very, very carefully. Okay, this is in a way, I would say government protecting the citizens in a way where they do not want foreign investors, foreign developers to come in and just grab all the en-blocs and sell a premium in the future to us, and it will really affect the property market, right? What I personally feel the government would like us to have gradual growth, okay, for the property prices, but not skyrocket. Whatever go up fast will come down fast as well, right? It's the same situation as Hong Kong. Eventually, the citizens are the one that are suffering, so they do not want us to suffer the same as well. So this is another killer for developers to really slow them in en-blocking projects, is because URA cuts the number of units allowed to be built in condos. They used to, just imagine, in the past, they are able to build 1,000 units on a project, but right now it's being cut to maybe 800 plus to 900 units. So this in terms lessen the developer's profit, okay? So this is the increasing of size. In the past, average, it's 70 square meter on average for a project, okay? But the URA have implemented this, they do not want shoebox sizes in Singapore. So they actually increase some areas for 85 square meter average. This in turn, developer will have bigger units for sale, but lesser units. Bigger units for them to sell, for us to stay, okay? But it's lesser units for them to sell and profits for them. So some areas, there are 9 areas that are going for 100 square meter average, and that decreased by 30%. Okay, this is a huge discount on the profits for the developer. So they are not very inclined to go for projects that doesn't really yield them profits. They are all businessmen, so profits is definitely the first thing on their mind. Okay, so let's go for some examples where I have prepared for you guys. Okay, Mandarin Gardens, it's a 99 years leasehold from 1982. Okay, and it's 38 years old from today. Okay, there are there are 2 en-bloc attempts that they tried, but it actually didn't went through. Okay, failed in collective sale, the en-bloc attempt, despite record reserve price at 2.9 billion. It's a huge site. Okay, so take note, every en-bloc site, they will definitely need 80% of the agreement from the residents itself. But for this project itself, it's only 68% agreeable. So for us, we may have the stats and figures to understand and choose a product, a project where it has very high potential en bloc opportunity. But there are one thing that we can't control is humans, right? We can't control the residents that they are very keen to sell or keen to go for en bloc. In this case, Mandarin Garden have been sentimental value for most of the residents there. Okay, I know some of the residents there that they are not looking for en bloc at all. They are not very inclined about the profits and stuff. They just want to stay there for their comfort and they can retire there, right? So some people, they are just not looking for en bloc, not looking for profits. That is something that is very dangerous if we decide to go into a project, and this is a lot of uncertainty that we can't control. There are a lot of things we can control, but this is something that we definitely can't control. Okay. Okay, hold on. Let me. Okay, let's take a look at this first. Okay, so this project appreciated 200% from the peak, okay? And they have stayed stagnation for a long time. And right now it's on a depreciating trend. Okay, let's take a look at the example. So usually when someone that is going for en bloc, first thing on their mind, they will always tell me that they have the holding power. Okay, but although you have the holding power, but you do not know when do you need to sell. When you need to sell, you have to sell. So when you need to sell, can you sell at a profit or even break-even price? Okay, so these are the losses that people make when they enter into this project, hoping that they can get some capital appreciation or even en bloc opportunity from there. So let's take a look at this example. This owner bought at 2.85 in 2010. Okay, so at 2.7 in 2020. In 10 years' time, they had a loss of 150,000. In Singapore, if you go for the right project, you did your calculated risk and choose the right project, you will definitely see your profit, right? So if you enter into a project where you have a lot of uncertainty, like this kind of project, you definitely will not, you are putting yourself at a lot of risk. So I need you to understand something. Every single dollar you give to the first owner is your potential loss, right? So first owner have already appreciated so much. Yet, if let's say you are entering here and you feel it's a very good price, okay, but first owner paid so much lesser than you, yet let's say today if you purchase at 2 million, the first owner probably get it at let's say 500,000. Okay, they can easily sell at 1.5 million and still make a profit of 1 million. But you purchase at 2 million, you are at a potential loss of 500,000. Okay, the reason is right now we are all very any buyers, when they look into a project to buy, they will definitely look at past transacted prices. So if the same, let's say you went for 10th floor at 2 million, one level down and 9th floor decided not to be greedy, so at 1.5 still make 1 million profit, yet one level difference is 500,000. Right, so if today you are a buyer, how much will you pay one level up? Right, so you probably go for maybe 1.55, 1.6, right? So that is a huge potential loss on the owner if you enter at 2 million. And if you enter at 2 million, you probably are looking at 2.2, 2.4 million in profit. But this is something that you neglect the downside, you neglect the risk. right? So for me, it's always emphasizing on the risk part, okay? Every single dollar, remember this, every single dollar you give to the first owner is a potential loss for you, okay? So I hope this case study is good enough for you, for people who feel that they have a holding power of 10 years. Yet 10 years is really a long time, it's a decade, and yet you're making 150,000 loss. Okay. Next one, let's go to Regency Park. Okay, this is in District 10. Okay, it's built in completed 1990, 30 years old. Right, so it's a pretty old project already, and the PSF is very, very attractive. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Okay, first owner appreciated 141%. Okay, and you can see the stagnation stage. It's a long period. It's about 10 years. It's about 10 years, right? So this is the same thing where anyone who go into a project hoping that if you enter here, you're probably hoping that it will go up. But the fact is that you cannot neglect the fact where it may stay stagnant or it may even depreciate. This is something that we can't control, because any first owner, okay, any first owner here can be selling at a cheaper than your purchase price, then you are stuck already. Okay, let's take a look at the example. This owner, these are the losses for Regency Park owners that sold at a loss. Okay, so this owner bought at 6.88, purchased 6.88, sold at 6.35. In 5 years, they lost $500,000. $500,000 you divided by your monthly pay. Okay, how many months are you working for free? Right, so choosing a project is really very, very important. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. It's comparing to another project. It's nearby Gramercy Park. Okay, take a look at the map. Regency Park is here, just beside its Gramercy Park. Okay, it's a new project. It's fully sold already, so it's completed in 2016. Okay. Take a look at this chart. So during the same time frame, okay, people who bought in 2016 and people who bought Regency Park. Regency Park at that point, same time frame as Gramercy Park, was at 1,006 PSF, and Gramercy Park is selling at 2,005 PSF. It's approximately $1,000 PSF more, right? So that is, logically speaking, is definitely go for the cheaper, bigger size, right? But in fact, this Gramercy Park appreciated 22%. 22% despite $1,000 PSF in premium. Okay, a lot of buyers right now, they are only looking at the PSF, but they do not understand the chart, the price trend. If a project have already entered into a stagnation stage, you can pretty much expect it to stagnate or start to depreciate after a period of time. So in this case, they have stagnated for the last 10 years for for Regency Park, right? So I need you to understand something. Some things you may buy in cheap, but it will stay cheap. However, some projects, some things, you can buy in at a premium, but it will continue to appreciate in price, right? So not necessarily cheap means good, right? If you are using the past strategy, investment strategy into this current new era, it doesn't work anymore. Imagine you are using a technology from 10 years ago to this current era. Do you think it will work? Right? So we all have to change. Something we can't change is the government implementation of cooling measures. That is something we can't change. But the only thing we can change is our investment strategy, and be very, very open-minded on what is actually happening on the ground and how are people actually taking profit in this current era. Okay, things have changed. It may not sound logical to you, but there's always a reason behind it. Okay, these are the actual profit that Gramercy Park owners are actually taking, right? So this owner, 6.55 in 2016, sold in 7.7 in 2020. 4 years, they make $1 million, right? Compared to if you go into Regency Park, at this point, how much do you expect to make the profit when it's stated 1.32% within the same time frame? Okay, another case study for Bayshore. Okay, it's 27 years old right now. Okay, the land is huge, and from what I know, some of my clients, they are looking into this project. But once you understand the price trend, the risk, always take note on the risk, because in any investment vehicle, risk is something that we can control, and we need to eliminate as many risks as possible. Once we take care of our risk, the upside will eventually be there, because growth, upside, capital appreciation is something that we can't control, but risk is something we can control. So if you are not controlling something that you are able to control, yet you want to hope for higher capital appreciation when you neglect the risk, this is not a very sound investment strategy. Okay? Take a look at the price trend. For the Bayshore, they have appreciated 112%. And they have already entered into a stagnation stage. Okay, so this owner, take a look at the transaction. This owner, 7 years, same thing. Any buyers who go into resale, they have this mindset where they can hold until the property increase in price, appreciate in price. But the fact is that that is something you can't control, but can control is not give to the first owner is your potential loss. So that I really need you to really understand that. So this owner purchased at 1.27 in 2012, 7 years later, sold at 1.15 at a loss of 120,000. Okay, 7 years making 120,000 in losses. It's not very reasonable. When all your friends, when they go into other projects, when they make very calculated risks and stuff, they all are taking 200,000 to 300,000 in profit, yet you are making loss of 120,000, right? So these are the actual losses for other owners who went in as a second or third or fourth owner. Okay. Okay, so that is the risk part, the risk management part on you thinking to enter into an en-bloc situation, right? There are a few things that we really can't control. So I hope when you are making a decision, always be very prudent and know at what price trend is going. Is it on a depreciating trend? Is it on a stagnation trend? Or is it on an upward trend? And how much the first owner have already profit from you. You are technically speaking helping the first owner to exit the property and for them to continue to take profit elsewhere being the first owner, and yet you are there stuck. Okay. So any investors today are looking at high rental yield, I have two examples for you that have pretty good high rental yield, but I will also share with you on the risk. This is at Bugis area, Rochor, Burlington Square. Okay, here is very it's 2020. Okay, take a look at the price trend. This project appreciated 130%, and right now it's on a depreciating trend. Okay, so whenever an investor is looking into investing investment property, they will always look at the rental. So this rental, it's very decent. 2-bedroom at 3.8. Okay, 2-bedroom at 3.8. So let's take an example of this. First owner bought at 685,000 and sold to you because you are looking at the renter, a very high renter. So you bought it at 1.1. Okay. So you are giving 414,000 to the first owner for them to exit the property when it's on a depreciating trend. And your monthly rental is 3.8. Your yearly rental is 45,000. And divided by your purchase price is your rental yield. Okay. In Singapore, 2.5 to 3% it's pretty norm, average in Singapore context. Okay, so this is almost double. 4% is really, really good rental yield. But you need to understand something. You are directly giving 109 months advance rental to the first owner to exit the property, which is on the depreciating trend, and for them to enter into another project to continue to the first owner and take profit again, right? So you are doing them a huge favor by helping them to exit the property. And right now, although you are getting 4.1%, but remember what I told you, every single dollar you gave to the first owner as profit is your potential loss, because there are other first owners bought at 600,000+. They can easily, and you purchase at 1.1, they can easily sell it at maybe 900,000. They still make a 300,000 profit, yet you are at a potential loss of 200,000. And this in turn will make you really have difficulty on selling, right? So I need you to understand that, I mean, for me, whenever I don't see myself doing or entering a certain project, I do not want my clients to enter it, because it's not logical at all. Facts and figures, they don't lie. So why do you want to give 414,000 in profit to the first owner when you can be the first owner to get the profit from your buyer in the future? Okay. The next project, I'm sure you guys are very familiar, very, very iconic and high rental yield. Okay, the sale at Marina Bay. Okay, it's 18 years old. Okay, in CBD area, rental yield it's fantastic. Take a look. Appreciated 193%, and right now it's on a depreciating trend, right? When a project is on a depreciating trend, it's very, very scary. I will always tell my clients, you can buy 99 years property, but you have to be the first owner. It's because 99 years lease, once it hit a certain number of lease, it will start to stagnate and depreciate. Okay, but right now, from what I'm seeing is that even freehold properties, they are facing the same issue. So not necessarily freehold means a better property status compared to a 99 years. Okay, so this property itself, 4.6 rental for 1 bedroom. Very, very decent. Okay, and these are the losses for some of the owners that they actually took losses from 800 plus to 1.7 million. Okay, take a look at this. First owner bought at 579,000 and sold to you at 1.2 million, and you are giving 620,000 in profit to the first owner for them to exit when the property is on a depreciating trend. Okay, so your rental, monthly rental is 4.6, yearly is 55,000, and your rental yield is 4.6%. So you are directly giving 134,000 advance rental for the first owner to exit. That is 11 years. Right? You are doing them a huge favor. Okay. So I hope you guys will really manage the risk. Always take care of the risk before you are hoping for profits. Right? Some things you may buy in cheap, but it will stay cheap because you do not see the price trend and you do not understand the project, the residents in that project. So all the Huttons agent, they will be able to assist you and explain to you on what are the risks that you should be looking at. Okay. So I hope this code will really help you to make a better decision. The ones who make it are the ones who manage risk very, very well. Okay. So next, I will be touching on understand how and why does a project appreciate in price. How do we actually understand a project that when we enter it will appreciate in price? So there are 3 points: geographical area, demographical, and the second will be land bid. The third one will be exit strategy. Okay, in the purchasing part, it's easy, but the exit strategy is always the most difficult, because when you exit at the wrong time, when you don't know who's your exit demographics, who's your future buyer, you are going to face difficulty when you're going to sell in the future. I have a few examples. Okay, we will be touching on North Park Residences. Okay, it's located in Yishun. Okay, some of you may not be very familiar with the area and some other locations that I'm sharing later. You may not be very familiar, but the concept is the same. I need you to understand the concept before you actually make a decision. Okay. So this project, let's understand the area first. Okay. For this project, is an integrated project, shopping mall downstairs and residential on top. Okay. And those people who, sorry, anyone who stays in that area or know about that area, they know that Yishun only have one mall. It's called North Point. And Canberra, Yishun, and Khatib residents, they all go to this mall called North Point. And for North Park Residences, they are a mall. It's going to merge with North Point to become a mega mall in that area, and residences up there, right? So this is the part where you will create a lot of hype, because when it's ready, everyone will want to have the convenience. And in that area, there's only this mall, and it's going to be massive. Okay, something new is going to rejuvenate the entire area. That is why there are a lot of clients who went there and took a huge profit from there. Okay, so this is something that you need to understand: the geographical area. What are the malls, and how are the residents actually react when there is a new mall or a new MRT station or new project itself. Okay. So this project appreciated in 4 years 16%. So remember I told you when there is a hype upon TOP, okay, when there's a hype, everyone will want to stay there and have the convenience. That is when they are willing to pay a premium. But if the hype is over, you do not see as much profit. That is why owners who bought there are advisable to sell the moment it get their keys. Is because that area is very, very mature. When it's a mature estate, it will be very flat for prices. You do not see much capital appreciation in the future when this mall, its hype is over. So they are seeing lesser profit right now. Okay. So take a look at the profits. These are the profits where other owners in North Park Residences actually make, and they bought in 2015, 2016, 2017, and they sold in 2019. So first owner bought at 1.24, in 2015, and 4 years later they sold at 1.58. Profit at 4 years, 339,000. Okay, in return on investment wise, 4 years, 98% is very, very, very decent, right? Can you actually find a very safe investment vehicle that give you this kind of returns, 98% in 4 years? It's very different where stocks and shares may give you such profit, but my most recent encounter is the oil company Hin Leong. If a listed company can report their books report their books that they are having a profit when they are actually having a huge loss, I honestly do not know which listed company I can actually buy. But when I go into property, it's bricks and mortar. It's going to be there, right? The value will not go zero, but for a paper value in stocks and shares, you can't deny the fact that it may have the possibility of going bust and not a single cent you are going to get back from there. Okay. So that will be covering on understanding the geographical and demographical area when a project's up and how the residents is going to react from there, and that will determine how and when you will need to exit the property. Okay, so the next one is High Park Residence. Okay, this is in Fernville, Sengkang area. Okay, owners who bought in this area is in 2016, and that is when the sentiments are really bad. But anyone who took the step to enter into a project, they actually took a huge profit from there. Let me share with you more. So before we go there, I need you to understand the land bid, which means who's your competitor when you are going to sell. So for High Park, it's 2 land parcel adds together to become one project, High Park Residences. So parcel A and parcel B. Okay, then who's your competitor? Okay, your future competitor will be Riverbank and River Trees. Okay, these are your direct competitor. Why Large Acres is not a competitor to you? It's because Large Acres is an EC. So when High Park is ready, they are able to sell. EC is not ready to sell yet because they need 3 years to build and they need 5 years MOP. So technically speaking, they need 8 years, right? So that is when right now you are seeing a lot of High Park owners, they are exiting with a huge profit. So let's touch on the land bid on Riverbank and River Trees. So take a look at this first. River Trees, the break even it's 972. So all those are concurrently they are selling. At Riverbank, the land bid, the break even is at 920. Okay, so remember I told you parcel A and parcel B for High Park, add together, they are average around 870. So it's clearly stated where once you understand the land bid, it's very clearly stated where which project would give you a better entry price. When it's always, remember, when I always choose a project, it's always about covering your risk. So if a project with 870 plus break-even price compared to 972 break-even price, I'm already at a safe entry compared to them. If I'm not able to make money, they are going to be worse than me, right? So I'm not wanting them to be worse than me. It's just that me securing my safe entry on next. If they buy at 972 break-even price, they definitely have to sell a lot higher. But I'm buying way lower than them. I just have to sell at their purchase price and I'm safe. Okay. So this will be the land bid. And let's take a look how much they have already appreciated. Okay. 4 years, 22%. 4 years, 22%. Okay. Very decent. Take a look at the profit area first. Okay. Owners are making that kind of profits in that project. And in 2015, they all went in. 2020, 2019, they are exiting. So let's take a look at this example. First owner bought at 924,000 in 2015, sold at 1.275 in 2019. 4 years, they make 351,000. These are very, very average, very holding very average paying job couple where they bought into this project, and right now they're able to use the profit to upgrade. Right now, your savings, your income will never be able to catch up as fast as the property prices. So in order to have a multiplying of properties, right, it's only through properties, right? That is the fact. When I have came across like very average family have 2 or 3 properties, but how did they actually got it? It's only through properties. Making the right decision, calculated risk, and sell at a safe, at the maximum profit point. And that's when you are using, let's say you are entering into a 1 bedroom. You are using the 1 bedroom profit to go into 2 or 3 bedrooms. But if you went into a wrong project, you are not taking 1 step forward, you are taking a few steps back, right? Because you need to make back your losses first and then your profit. So you are taking a huge step back. Okay, so risk, always manage on your risk. And the ROI, very, very decent. 4 years, 169%, right? That will be on the land bid. Understand the land bid, what's your entry price? Is it a safe entry or not? Okay? So this is the most important part about exit strategy. In any, you really have to understand how are you going to exit. And there are a few points that are very crucial for me to choose a right project. So it will be good if there's a renowned primary school, because Singaporean parents, they will most probably do anything for their kids, right? When they want to get into a good school, they will buy into that area within within 1 km in order to register for the school. Okay, so imagine if today you would like to go into a school, but that area doesn't have any good projects for you to enter. And when you bought the projects, a project that is on a depreciating trend, yet the kid cannot get into a primary school, this is a double blow, right? So we do not want that to happen. If there's always different strategy, different plans. and your agent will plan it properly for you. Okay, let's move on. And primary school is a plus point. International school is a plus point for rentability as well. And remember what I mentioned. Any rejuvenation in that area, if that area is very mature, nothing much coming up, nothing much happening in the estate, you probably see their prices stagnate in their current situation. But if there's a rejuvenation in the area, a new mall, a new MRT station, you can expect the price to be slightly escalate up in the near future. Okay, so MRT station is important, transformation is important. Okay, then it will be really very beneficial if there is a projects nearby that have en-bloc opportunity. Remember that we do not want to enter into a project where it's uncertainty, a lot of uncertainty, by giving the first owner a lot of profit, helping them to exit, yet I can't control other owners to go on en-bloc, right? So this is a plus point if there's an en-bloc opportunity. When the en-bloc actually goes through, they will set a new price trend in that estate, in that area. That is when it will create a lot more hype in that area, and the prices will be slightly escalated as well. Okay, so another important part is empty plots of land. If an area that is very packed, very mature, there's nothing much going there, no pockets of land in between, you probably can expect not much from there. It's already there, everything is there. So if you want convenience, you can buy the MRT station, existing MRT station, right? So you buy into that, you are buying into a convenience, and you have to pay that convenience. They have already factored in the price. Okay, if let's say you are a condo owner right now, and you know that there's an upcoming MRT station, will you factor in the price when you sell to your next client, your next buyer, right? So it's always the same thing. They will always factor in, but it depends on how far away is the transformation. Then we will do a reasonable factoring about the price. Okay, so empty plots of land, very important in estates that you are looking at. Okay, so I will take an example on this project. It's an example. I need to understand the concept. Once you get the concept, you will choose the right project. Okay, Affinity at Serangoon. Some of you may heard of this project, some of you may not heard of this project, but what I'm sharing with you is the exit strategy, which is the most important to me. Okay, so this project, they are located, once the government announced the first phase of Cross Island MRT station, it's located pinpoint. This project actually 100 of units were being snapped up. Okay, it's because the MRT effect is always a very, very good drawing point for your future buyers. Whenever you enter into a project, you need to give your next buyer a reason to buy your project. When they can still see value, when they buy over your property, they can still see value, appreciation value in the near future when they want to sell to the next owner, right? So you need to give them a reason, a value for them to visualize, for them to actually pay you a premium for you to exit. Okay, so for Affinity at Serangoon, during this, when developer built this when they bidded this land, they do not know there's a cross island line coming, right? So once it's announced, we know there's a cross island line coming, but we do not know the exact location. So this is the cross island line, but we do not know the exact location, right? So once the exact location, okay, during this phase, clients are still buying into this project, okay? But once they pinpoint the project, units are flying off the shelves, okay? So the MRT, the MRT effect is strong, okay? Okay, this is very heavy. Follow my pen. Okay, what is important about this master plan? Remember, I told you roadside school, a very renowned primary school is very important. Okay, and this parents actually, this is like the top 5 SAP school in Singapore, right? So people actually buy this address for within 1 km for the primary school. So a very renowned primary school that actually make people buy into this address is very important. Second, international school, French international school. Okay, this is a plus point as well that will make you save on the rentability. Okay, and the third one is the upcoming MRT station, which is a huge plus point where you like it or not, when this MRT station is up, you like it or not, you have to exit from this property, is because when the MRT station is up, it injects convenience into this entire estate. That is when the hype is there and more people are willing to look into this estate, wanting to stay there because of its convenience, right? Then they are willing to pay you a premium. That is when I say, even when you buy now, you purchase into this estate now, why would anyone pay you a premium? Let's say upon TOP, why would they pay you a 300,000 premium to buy from you? Because they see the capital appreciation when the MRT station is up. So this is when I say you need to give them a reason for them to buy over your property. Okay, the fourth one, Kensington. This is a 999 years leasehold property. It's a 30 years old. Okay, this sooner or later they will go en bloc, but we do not know when. There are a lot of uncertainty. We do not know when they are going through en bloc, but you can be rest assured, sooner or later they have to go, right? Once they go, they will set a new price point in this estate. And this entire estate, not many projects, condominiums in this area. So the last point will be the empty plots of land 1, 2, 3. 3 plots of empty plot of land. Okay, the yellow one, reserve site, right? This one used to be educational zone, but the master plan URA, they convert it into reserve site, right? So I personally feel that government, they do not build a MRT station just to service the current estate population. You can expect, and this is I would say 5 to 6 minutes walk. This yellow reserve site, it's 5 to 6 minutes to walk to Serangoon North MRT station, and Affinity at Serangoon, it's 3 to 4 minutes walk to Serangoon North MRT station. Right, so once any of this residential plot of land, once they go through, it will bring up the entire estate value as well, because government, when they sell a land, they can't afford to sell cheaper than the previous land. It has to be more and more expensive, and the construction cost, the raw materials, the workers, the cost is already going up. It's on the papers that they have already announced that everything is going to go up. So it has to bring up the entire value of this estate. Okay, so your direct competitor is Garden Residence. This is the direct competitor for Affinity itself. So, but they are going to TOP in 2021. Okay, Affinity is going to TOP late 2022 or 2023, right? So what does it mean? Okay, when Garden Residences, they TOP already, 2 years later, Affinity TOP, it makes Affinity the newest kid in town, and it's nearer to future MRT station. Okay, and you can check with your agent on the prices comparing Garden Residences and Affinity, right? the land bid for garden residences is slightly higher than affinity, yet they are going to TOB first. They are going to TOB first, and people will be in first. When you are buying, affinity is buying cheaper than them, yet you are nearer to MRT station, and you are the newest kid in town. So if, let's say, both selling at the same price, when they TOB, which one will you choose? A nearer to MRT station and a newer property, right? So I leave it to you to discuss with your agent. Okay, so these are the very important different exit strategy. Okay, first is upon TOB. Upon TOB, you will create a lot of hype because you are the newest kid in town. Okay. Second, once any of the reserve site residential plot is went through for land bid, it's definitely going to bring up the entire value of the estate. So that you can consider to exit. Okay. Third, it's once Kensington go through en-bloc, it will bring up the entire value of the area. It will rejuvenate the entire area as well, right? So that is something that you can consider as well. So primary school, Resale Primary, and the international school, it's like a backup plan for you that you know there will always be demand that people are looking into that area. Okay, so this is me finding all the safest exit strategy, because when we go into a project, we do not know when we need to exit, but when we exit, can we exit smoothly, right? So we need to identify as many exit strategy as possible, and that is in turn eliminating as many risks as possible. Okay, so I hope you guys understand this master plan, and if I didn't do a good job on explaining, you can check with your the agent, Huttons agent that invited you, and they will explain to you again. Okay, so that will be the exit strategy part. Okay, so during this weekend, District 19 affinity is District 19. All these are District 19 projects. Visit the show flat with your agents and understand every single project. What is the land bid? What is the exit strategy? And what is the price point? What is the profit margin from the developer? Okay, then it's like an educational session for you to actually go through all and understand what is on the ground. Okay, so I hope today's session is beneficial and you can turn the knowledge that I have shared into actions. Okay. Yep, and I thank you for listening. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Oliver. All right,
Yep.
we will have a Q&A session. In the meantime, I think we'll give some time to Oliver to read through the questions. But I'm sure many of us are starting to see how to navigate in terms of the opportunities down there, opportunities out there for real estate investment. And I was increasingly intrigued by the case studies of what Oliver presented of the past en-bloc site. It is never a hard and fast rule that en-bloc profits and even the probability of such profits will be greater than that of a new launch project. So he introduced the concept of risk and return. So risk and return is an important concept that we need to understand. Grasping the risk-adjusted return within our allocated risk appetite is crucial in making informed decisions. So there are many ways we can deal with risk. We can mitigate the risk, we can transfer the risk, we can simply avoid the risk. So in restructuring, or at least in structuring a real estate portfolio, there are also many additional factors to consider too. I think Oliver brought about a key point, which is the exit strategies. Whether it's the schools, the international schools, potential redevelopment and MRT sites. So this can also somewhat mitigate the risk that we are looking at. So all these factors actually, even though they are minute points, they actually form a big picture to ensure the capital preservation of your future asset. Okay, so do approach the Huttons consultant that's invited you today. They have the materials for today's seminar. They have the materials to back up and to value add your investment decisions.